Hello, and welcome to our live stream. My name is Sohan Maheshwar. I'm a dev advocate with Fermion. As you can see, I don't have my usual setup because I just moved home, so I have the little tiny mic set up here. Hopefully, my audio is coming through clearly. I'm joined today by Adam, who's the CTO of Smartsupp. Adam Sobotka. Adam, where are you logging in from?
I'm logging in from Brno right now, and I have a similar problem as you because I just stepped out of the train that moved me to the second biggest city in Czech Republic. So I'm not in my usual setup. So I hope that you can hear me loud and clear. Uh, and I love your mic, by the way. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I think it was Sivo Navigate where we live streamed some videos with this mic, and it was a big hit. Apparently, it's a TikTok thing. I just saw it on Amazon and bought it because I like how it looked. So I'm just going with it. Have some very familiar folks here. Thank you so much, Bunny, again for joining in, and howdy, David Wallace as well. Welcome to the stream. Today, I think it's some sort of record because we had a question before the stream started, which is from Dhruv. Dhruv, if you're still around, let us know. We'd love to help you debug why it's not working as well. So, bit of a recap from us. Last week we didn't have a stream because a bunch of us from Fermion were meeting in person for an offsite. But the week before that, we had a live stream with Ben Vishovic from Leptos. He's one of the core maintainers of Leptos, and we really did a deep dive into the Leptos Spin integration, right? And you can check that out here. I think yes, here we go. But today we are talking with Adam, who actually has built an app using the Leptos and Spin integration. Now this is ideal because I don't claim to be an expert in Rust. Adam says he's learning it as well. So he'll take us through the journey of what he's built. So Adam, first off, what did you build? So let's talk about the use case itself, right? You built a token sharing app. If people want
Yeah.
to check it out, you can check it out here. So talk us through what you built.
Okay. So the demo time, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, so the app is pretty simple. Some of my friends already told me that it's like nonsense because you can save the token anywhere and it will stay there in the same secret way as it's secure is your computer. But I was solving my own problem. And the problem was that I wanted to share the secret, some like token or something similar to the company that was collaborating with us. And there are some existing applications on the market, but I was like going through them and I didn't like any of them. I can go in better detail about this later, but for now, this is the reason I started building this application aside of my attempt to build something because that's other way around from the Ben's experience. Ben was one of the people that built Leptos, and he kind of like made it working on Fermion, while I was interested in Leptos, and when I've seen the opportunity to build something on top of Leptos, I simply jumped in without any prior knowledge, with very like medium is maybe too high level of knowledge of Rust. So this is what I built. What you can do here is to, I don't know, type a token. Let's say that I'm sharing some sort of secret. You perhaps don't have these letters. And I will write just ahoy underneath it, just to make sure that you can read it back. And you generate the URL, and the URL is including the decipher key. So this link that you can copy basically saves the information. Now it's safely stored in the database, but even I, without the key, can take a look what's inside. And nobody basically without this URL can decipher it. It's one of the most secure um, cryptography that is on the market right now. Oh, it doesn't work like this.
Nice.
Let me see. So yeah, When I click on the link, I get the secret back, and I can save this URL, and it always give me back my secret from the database, no matter what device, no matter where you are. It's saved under this ugly uh, ID and key.
Okay.
So
So there's lots of
that's
stuff
the gist.
happening and lots of stuff to break down there, Adam. I think it's pretty impressive. Quick shout out to Marcus for joining in the stream as well. Hey, Marcus from Switzerland. Um, yeah, I hope you're enjoying some good weather today. So, Adam, about you first said that you actually evaluated like a bunch of different options before building this, right? What was lacking in some of those options that you said you'd go out and build this yourself?
Yeah. Well, I have to say that the first motivation was to like try something on the Leptos, because I was looking at the framework like 2-3 months before that, and as it was maturing, I was like really looking forward to take my hands on this. But the second like biggest motivation was that there was nothing on the market that was open sourced. That was like one important thing, or at least documented in terms of what the guys are going to do with my data. So I don't have this information in my project, but I do have it open source, and I can walk you through the code and explain what's going on. And this is what I was missing the most, that it wasn't clear if this is some like PHP stuff written unencode in MySQL database or something like that. And we all know how these things end. And I was sharing like real secret information with our partner organization, and I was like, I was at the end of the road, because I was looking at the tool, and I was really considering sending it via the WhatsApp, but it is end-to-end encrypted, and it was like the
Yeah.
second best option. But then I said, how hard it will be to write something like this, and it wasn't. Like it was super easy. The Rust had a great cryptographic libraries, and I was able to make it in, I mean, 4 days. It was almost weekend project. So yeah,
Nice.
it was super good experience.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool humble brag, Adam. Just 4 days coded, learned a new framework in a new language, built like an app. That's pretty cool. Quick shout out again to Diversible from the west coast of Canada, and also Bunnies. We already said hi to Bunny. Enough of saying hi to Bunny. Nah, I'm kidding. Diversible also works on the Leptos framework, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, amazing that you could show up here, Diversible. Yeah, and welcome to the stream. Adam, before we jump into the code, I know everyone wants to sort of see this. For viewers who might not be familiar with Leptos, any reason you chose Leptos for this particular application?
Yeah, well, I am JavaScript guy basically. So I know most of the frameworks that exist in JavaScript world, and the Leptos is very familiar. It's like true reactive framework. It's not like React, because React is not reactive framework. If you are in these things, you know. It's very similar with the concept of signals and these things. It's very close to my heart. I'm Svelte guy, or what was the framework with the signals?
Solid.js, is that the one?
Yeah. SolidJS is, they were first who introduced the idea of function that keeps your values, and that's what you are using in Leptos. So when I was reading through the documentation, I assumed that I will jump in and I will understand what I'm going to do. It wasn't that easy, but it was very familiar. And there
Yeah,
is
even
another.
Marcus is envious, Adam, saying 4 days is very impressive to like learn like a new framework and build something. So that's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my ability. That's my superpower. I can jump in anything and understand it in very quick time, but I am too dumb to do anything like more complex. So that's why I'm a manager, not a programmer. Yeah, I understand things
No.
pretty quickly.
Okay, awesome. All right. So I think we should just dive into the code and actually see how you've built this, because I'm very curious myself as well. Again, for the folks there, we're discussing with Adam how he built token share using Leptos and Spin. It's completely open source, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct, Adam. It's fully open source. Adam had also posted on our Discord that he'd love contributions or if people want to try out. So yeah, the source code is right there. Do check it out. All right, Adam, I'm going to share your screen. Maybe we can go through the code a little bit.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah. It's not perfect code.
Sorry, Adam. I think it's doubling with your background on StreamYard as well. If you can just increase the size of VS Code.
Like this?
Yes, that's good.
Okay,
seeing too much of my face. I don't want to see my face on screen. So.
Yeah, you and me. I understand. Anyway, so this is what we are looking at is basically a starter template that was built by the guys at Fermion. There is another template created by Ben that have some little bit better concept of passing data between client and server, but I was too lazy to rewrite it. It's this like I will get to this later, and I will tell you what I would like to rewrite, but I have so limited time that I wasn't able to do that. The only thing I did is that I separated the libraries, the modules as they are called in Rust, and I created I forwarded the roads towards them. So all you can see in the main file is that I'm like routing the basic path and the get path to the different components. I would say it's perhaps like not in the React or JavaScript world you will say components, but they are basically functions modules in the Rust. And there at the bottom you can see very lame version of not found component that is rendering what's you're going to see if you type something on this type the URL. So there is nothing extra in this. What I did is that I had to implement the Tailwind because I can't do anything with CSS. Apologies to the CSS fans, but yeah, I'm pretty inefficient with CSS. So this is pointing out to the compiled CSS from the Tailwind. There is native support for the Tailwind, so if you are a fan, you can use it right away with the Leptos. With this, I don't think there is like here I am importing the modules I'm going to show now. This is the module that basically renders the page that saves the secret, that the first page. And yeah, here we can see a lot of imports. This is the library that I'm using for encryption and decryption. And I don't know much about it. I feel pretty lame talking about my project because I basically what I did is that I copy pasted things from the internet. This is the code.
That is most coding now, to be fair, though, Adam. I mean, I think that is what we do for our jobs, right? We copy paste code from, yeah. So that you're good.
Well, yeah, I know, but at least I understand what I'm doing. So this is what. This is the library that had some sample code I have to slightly bend to do what I need, but it's basically the functionality itself of encrypting and decrypting. And there are some other imports. I'm using QID as a ID of your record, and this is saved in the URL itself. So if you take a look back, and I can show it again later on. If you take a look on the URL, the first part is UID. It's like unique ID of your secret, and the second part is the token that lets you decrypt it again. And yeah, there is nothing else what I want to talk about in depth. There are some handlers, and this is the beauty of the Leptos. You create signal, and it works the same way as in a JavaScript world. You can have the token and set token, and that set token is essentially a function that sets the token across the whole state management. So you don't have this complicated state management as it was in like old React times, or even before that. You simply like set token to something, and the token value is automatically updated even through the DOM. That's perhaps like thing that worth mentioning, that you don't need to care about anything that you write in the signal. Wherever you render it later, there is the URL. No, here I'm setting it. Yes, I'm getting the value of URL, and that's all I need to care about, because that's the signal that is updated by the function on the backend. So these are basically the properties, or in the JavaScript word you will say that these are hooks. We will use state in the React to do that. But here it is slightly better version of the signals. And here is the on-click function. There's only thing that do something actually, that's the button you've seen before that generates the URL is handled by this on-click function. It implements a mouse event, and it's spawn local. This is the thing I mentioned before, that this is not probably like the best way how to handle communication between the resources on the front end and back end, but it works. So I haven't touched it, and I figure out how it works and just rewrite the logic to do it what I need. But it should be something around the resources that is native in Leptos, and I will rewrite it later on. So
I think I think we can get back to that bit, right? I think about how you could potentially rewrite that to improve. And just as Diversible was saying, I think, and you were also mentioning, Adam, that if you're coming from the JS world, Leptos is similar in spirit to solid.js in the use of signals, right? Where in your safe secret.rs, if I'm not mistaken, you have a signals. I mean, you have a signal that has a hook when, like, I think when something is typed and the button is clicked, correct?
Yeah, exactly. It fires every change in the input box, and it updates signal basically on every keystroke. That's what I'm doing.
On every keystroke, yes.
Yes. Where is it? It's somewhere here. Yeah. Here you can see it's a text array actually, but it's just an input type. And on input, it has to move the value, and the event is being consumed by set token. So yeah, I don't know how to explain that better what's going on in the Leptos, but it sort of like updates the value in the signal by calling the update function, and the update function call the signal value to this like event content. So it kind of like works automatically. You don't need to care about about updating the value of the signal that you are going to use later on. So when you click on click, there is the function on the button. You click on click, and you can rely on this value being what you need to have this like secret that you are saving. So you don't need to care about the functionality of like reading the value from the DOM or anything else. It's basically always updated in the signal.
Okay, nice.
Hope it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, David has said something interesting, which is Dioxys, which is another Rust web framework, again gaining popularity, is switching to signals in the next release. Interestingly, Spin does have a sort of integration with Dioxys as well. It was something Ivan, one of our engineers, wrote a while back, and we haven't demoed it on a stream, but it's on our blog. Adam, maybe something for you to try out, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that my time for trying these things is very limited because I haven't mentioned that before, but I am going to leave the company, so I have a lot of things going on right now, and
Right.
this is like this being on top of the like technology uh, inventions is kind of like part of the functionality that I have to start sort of push back a little to make sure that my successor will have a smooth landing. So I'll be doing this stream, but the project wasn't updated in a month or something, and I'm not going to return to this anytime soon. But one day I will return and try Dioxys is the name. I heard about
Dioxys,
it
yes.
before. I think it's more close to React that I can use, but I don't like personally. So yeah, let's see how it compares.
Hey, that's why we do open source, right? Just do something, leave it out there, hope that someone else grows it. I mean, I'm half kidding, of course. But actually, you mentioned something interesting, David, and I'd love to hear what our audience thinks of this, which is how do you keep up with so many new frameworks and tech, and we all like playing around with it. So, what are your tips and tricks for actually playing around with it? I'd love to hear it from you, Adam, but also from the folks in the audience. Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. What's your secret there, Adam? How do you keep up with so many of these new frameworks, new languages, new architectures, new design patterns?
Yeah, it's difficult, but if you do it for, and now it will be like, I try to keep my ego on short leash usually, but I don't want to boast, but you get this from the experience. I was around when the routers, the original like network routers appeared, and it was like a new invention that simplified things in the network infrastructure. So when someone came with the router in the programming languages and the concept of router, I said, hey, I've seen this. I know how it works. Basically, it's the same thing as the network router. So sometimes it's easier with the experience you get because I'm a pretty old guy and I've experienced a lot, and I can see the patterns if they appear, and I can say that they are interesting because they move something important forward. And for the fermion, for example, it's essentially the same thing as the lambdas from Amazon years ago. But the problem with the lambdas in Amazon is AWS, I mean, is that the code start is over second, and sometimes it's a minute, or you basically don't know what the code start is. And it basically eliminates 90% of the use cases. So you have this like cool technology that allows you to not care about anything other than code. And you write the lambdas, but the lambdas boots up for ages, and you can't use them for anything reasonably real time, right? So
Yeah.
you can't build the website that is rendered as a lambda because your clients will kill you. So when Fermion arrived, it was like super clear what it improves. And it wasn't out of the blue. There was some other attempts, like Cloudflare did a good attempt to speed up the lambdas. But the Fermion did it like in a very different way with the WASM. And I think that it was like super clear from the beginning, at least to me, that this is going to be significant because you can now build lambdas that works in the real time. So that somehow clicked in my mind, and I dig
Yeah.
deeper.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely, Adam. Yeah. I mean, first, I'm very biased, of course, but thanks for the shout out. Yes, agree. I think the usage of WebAssembly combined with our tech stack sort of helped minimize things like cold starts, and we've brought it down to, at a point where, like, use cases that serverless is really meant for, you can start seeing differences, unlike say, a Lambda function. About my earlier question, I asked folks, how do you keep up with all of the new tech and frameworks out there? I sort of like David's suggestion as well. I think it's very pragmatic, where you pick one, go for it, and you switch if you sort of hit a roadblock, which I think is a very pragmatic approach. Marcus also, I think, tends to resonate with what you said, Adam, which is experience is sort of the key to accelerate your learning when it comes to coding, because you do see patterns in how frameworks and ecosystems evolve, right? I'm not as experienced in the industry as Adam, I think. Not guessing your age, Adam, but based on what you said about routers at least. But I've definitely seen, these cycles of ecosystems evolving in very similar ways. So you tend to start seeing those patterns as well, right? And I think Bunny also says that, which is experience helps with being a polyglot, and learning more languages and frameworks has an accelerant effect for the next one. Yeah, absolutely. Downside of being a polyglot, I can no, Bunny, I'm sure that's not true. Yeah, I mean, I think especially with the resources that are available nowadays, being a polyglot is more, I think, about understanding the nuances of the language as opposed to, like things like syntax and like the smaller details, which is much easier to find, I think, like say from 10 years ago, with like Copilot and ChatGPT. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Okay. Yeah. Another very cool thing, hot off the press, is Diversible saying that Leptos and Dioxys are starting to share some of their dependent crates moving forward. That is awesome news. Yeah, Rust is really good for code reuse. Very cool, Diversible. I'd love to see how that pans out. Yeah, keeping a close eye on that for sure. Very cool. Okay, so let's get back on track, Adam. So this is your safesecret.rs, where any keystroke, there are signals that sort of like a hook to save it. What do you do after this?
So yeah, you click the button. It calls the function. It's here. You spawn the function that is defined here. This is kind of like, and here all of this mess is just like the HTML. You don't need to talk about it for a long time. It's just trying to be nice enough HTML for you to be able to use it. The only like functionality aside of this is this like safe secret function that is running on server. This is clear from this. It compiles differently. I don't know how it works. It's a shame that Ben is not here to explain the internals, but I will be interested in like very deep dive on how the magic works in behind, because it works. I love it, but I have no idea how it works. Anyway,
a little birdie tells me that Ben will be back on a live stream here soonish. First you heard of it. It's a bit of secret. No, but Ben has said that he'll get on a live stream. We're thinking maybe first week of March. So I'm keeping a mental note of that, Adam, to ask him exactly this question about how this part works. Yeah.
Cool. Maybe someone else know. I mentioned that I'm not a like super great programmer. Here you can see like the function that takes the token, returns the result that is either string or server function error. This is the function type that is defined in either Leptos or Fermion, I don't know. And here is this like this part is basically copy paste from the Chachapoly site, the documentation. I just had to change some of the things to make it work in my code, but it generates the key, it generates the cipher from the key, then it generates nuance, and somewhere here it encodes it encodes the key to be stored in the database, and it returns the both UID that is created here and in this line. Sorry, I don't have practice in this. Here I'm generating the new ID, and it's returned back from the function. So I return the key to the cipher, and I return the ID that allows me to seek it in the database. Now, yeah, sorry, the encrypting part is here. This was just creating the function. The
Right.
ciphertext is the function that that encrypts the token here. And yeah, that's all the cryptography stuff. Here you can see that I'm storing the result in key value store. It was perfect.
So Adam, before that, sorry.
Yeah.
You said you use the Cha-Cha 20 poly, right? Which is a sort of
Yes.
industry standard in cryptography. I posted the link right here on the chat.
Yeah, it's
any reason why you chose this, and what were those modifications that you had to make for this particular app?
Yeah, it wasn't particularly easy to use, but it was well documented, and it was like I asked my friends that are on in the blockchain and things like that. They said that from the selection that is like easy to use, the Chachapo is perhaps the best, because if you don't repeat no ones, you basically have the thing super safe. Like what I said is that if someone opens my key store somehow, I doubt it will be possible, but even if someone broke to the Fermion servers and read the whole key value store, they will be not able to decrypt the data, even if they have like super solid hardware like NSA or the organizations like this will have a very hard time to get into this. And that sounded like, hey, I can build something like super cool. So I had to discover a little bit how the whole cryptography works, but I don't recall what I had to change. But there is the documentation on the crate site of the Chachapole, and if you read it, you can compare the code. It's I think it's slightly divergent somewhere around generating no ones, but I'm not completely sure what I had to change. Sorry about it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Marcus asks, is the Cha-Cha poly quantum safe yet? Did you come across when you were uploading?
Wow. It's hard to say because we there is the claims to be quantum resistant, and it depends on who is saying that. I don't want to claim that Chachapo is saved from the decryption using the quantum computers, because nobody knows. And I think stating this is kind of like claiming the thing that you cannot know because you don't have the quantum computer, right? So it either like you think that the cryptography is solid and you can't break it by any like already invented way using the quantum cryptography or not. And what as far as my knowledge is, you can't break Chachapoly using quantum computers, but it's I think that we are too early to claim something like this. The quantum computers will evolve, and if it will survive next 5 years, I will be more bold about saying, hey, this is going to be safe another like X years. It has this like cryptography built in that is using this no one's is actually one of the things that should potentially make it hard for any kind of like brute force, even the quantum computer brute force. But I'm not so deep in cryptography to be able to make my statement in this regard.
Yeah, I think that's a fair question. I mean, fair answer, because as Marcus also says, this is one of those it depends, right? And I used to host a stream back at AWS as well, and the answers to most questions were "it depends." So much so that I got like a T-shirt custom made with "it depends." I should probably wear it for the next stream. Like as Bunny says, right? I think public conversations of quantum safe have the asterisks of, well, don't really know, because there's so much that will probably happen that we have no idea.
But if you guys work with the Google and have access to the quantum computer, please try it. I will be like interested in the results.
Yeah, I wonder if folks have tried it out. What's the term? Quantum supremacy? Is that the term that they use when? No, that's a movie. I'm completely. There is a term where, like, a computer has. I forget. But yeah, as Diversible says, just follow InfoSec best practices for now, where you rotate your secrets often enough that future quantum. Yeah. My notebook sucks at quantum computing, but if you try, Marcus, you can use it as like a room heater or something. Your laptop. Also, yes, quick shout out to Ivan from Fermion and Ben from Leptos for putting together the Spin Leptos integration. Yes, again, big shout out to both those folks. Yes. Yes, Adam. So you were saying, and I had a specific question, right? So I think it was line 20 something, there was a bit where you're generating the server side function. Can we look at that again, potentially?
I'm having trouble with some noise in the sound. There is some like weird, white noise is introduced.
Could be from my end. Let me just go on mute.
Only from your side, like when you are talking, I'm hearing this like I don't know how to describe it. It's like calling from Mars or something like that.
Okay. Let me just change microphones. Hold on.
Now we lost the cool microphone, and I don't know what was the question. It was perhaps about this spawning the backend function, and I don't know much about it, to be honest. It's a copy paste of Ben code or someone else.
Check. Okay. Hopefully this is better. Just good.
Oh yeah. Now you are back, loud and clear.
Yes.
Especially clear.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. These tiny mics, they look nice, but they're not the most usable. Yeah. Thanks, folks. Sorry about that. Okay. Go ahead, Adam.
Oh, I missed the question. So was it about this like local spawning? Or?
Yeah. So can we maybe just do like a deep dive on that method? So that's the method essentially that generates the server side function, right? Which returns the URL.
Yes. Okay. Yes, exactly. But again, this is like the reaction to the click. This is mapped to the DOM. Document object model, and it spawns a future that is resolved on the backend. But how it works, I have no idea. So here is like I'm trying that if the safe secret function ends well or not. I'm awaiting the results, and if it works fine, I pass the URL, and if not, it prints out the error. And this is sort of like copy paste of the code that exists in the template. So I don't know how much I changed it, but it's perhaps not some substantial change. It was just incrementing the number. So I basically took this function that increments the number on the click, and I derived the functionality from this. So it's essentially copy paste, and I don't know. I will be super interested in how it works on behind, because this is part that is running on client, and it sends the data through the signals to the backend. But that's all I know. Sorry.
Yeah, that is, I think, one of the coolest things about Leptos itself, right? So I mean, we know that the template works, so awesome stuff, Ben and Ivan. But this isomorphic sort of way of looking at, it's almost magic. as Adam mentioned. So we're definitely going to have Ben and maybe even Diversible on a future stream to really talk about how this is working behind the scenes, because it is very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
So yeah, I think that this is I don't know even know like if it makes sense to get to the other component, because it's basically same other way around.
Sure, let's look at it.
But yeah, let's do it quickly. Yeah, let's do it quickly. This is the other way around functionality that calls the get secret, or it's the get secret component that again calls the get secret function from the backend, sets the signal, and the signal is rendered on the page. So this I mean, in this case, I wouldn't even need to use the signals, because there is nothing like reactive. Uh, you are able to render it, and then if the function on the backend is slow, you will be able to wait for the change. But in this case, it's so fast that it doesn't really make sense. It's just the way it was wired before. So I kept the logic, and it loads again, like it calls the function that looks very similar. You get this string. I need to parse the string from URL into two parts. One is the ID. This is the UID that we created. And the second is the key that I need to use to create a new nuance and read the values from the key value store. That's about it. Maybe if anyone have some specific question, I can talk in better detail about anything here, but it is it's not complicated functionality. It's basically taking the key from the URL and finding the encrypted data in the key value database, loading them, decrypting them, sending them back to the client for display.
Nice. No, I think the
And
simplicity of it all is great, right? Where you went from like a simple template to something that you actually created and is usable, which is, I think, pretty cool. Again, folks, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, or if you want to take a look at the source code or contribute, the link is right here. Adam, I also wanted to ask you, what's the story behind the username on GitHub and on Discord and everywhere else? If we can share it online.
oh yeah, we can. It is almost like 30 years old, and it was when the Gmail began. I needed some very unique username, because I wasn't able to create Adam at Gmail. It was taken, and nobody used this like Adam.Sobotka or something like that. It was at the time of the nicknames. So I needed to create some nickname, and this is from some book that described the English Celtic king Vortigern in some alternative history, that he actually beat the Romans in England and invaded the France, and they celebrated him as a king Vortigernix, because that was their pronunciation of the king Vortigern. And by the way, he was in our history, in our timeline, the Vortigern is a tyrant and very like bad person. But in this book, I forgot the name of the book, but in this book, he was like very positive, like lifesaver of the Celtic civilization. And it was funny, because it's sort of like reminded me how the winners create the history, because
Right.
that was like alternate history that described the world in very different way than we
Okay.
are used to, and it was fun. And I took this because it was sort of unique.
Nice. Okay, that's a great story. And yeah, like I said, folks, if you all want to check out the app, it's a straightforward app, as Adam said. It's tokenshare.fermion.app. But more importantly, the source code all can be found here. So if you want to dig through some cryptography in Rust, or just want to look at like an app that's using both Leptos and Spin, and basically the Leptos Spin starter template to actually build something into a production-ish environment, check out github.com/warseedjernix/token share. Adam, if assuming you had like the time and the bandwidth, how would you like take something like this forward in terms of building it out, right? Like fleshing it out. What were some features you would add to it?
Oh, there is nothing like clearly missing. If you have any ideas what should be built in, please create an issue in the repository. I'll think about it. As I mentioned, I have a lot of things going on, a lot of plates to spin, so it will be difficult to say yes, I will build it tomorrow, because yeah. But yeah, any idea is great, and if you want to contribute, it will be even better. If you want to fork it and use it for your own use case, please do. You can rebrand it, whatever you like. I don't think that I created much in this code, to be honest. It's most of the things are built by the guys on Fermion and Leptos, and if you find it useful, you can steal my code as any way you like, and I'll be super happy that I helped someone to make the life easier.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I saw the copyleft logo on the website, so I think that espouses the copyleft philosophy pretty well. We have Diversible, who actually, since we were talking about Leptos server functions, right? It is a little difficult to explain Leptos server functions in a comment. Yeah, I mean, that goes without saying. But basically, it's just syntax sugar for defining a public API. I think what makes it so effective is how well the framework has actually designed it, where us as a developer, we don't really have to think about what's going on behind the scenes. It just sort of works. If you're interested, I think the leptos.dev, book.leptos.dev is a great starting point to understanding how some of these things work. So if you want to do a deep dive on that, you can check that out. And also check out the starter template for Spin. I think there are two different ones you can try out, one on the Leptos side and one on the Spin side. Try out both, see which one suits your preference. And yeah, and Diversible, we need to get you on a live stream as well to talk about how you built some of these things, which is pretty cool. All right, I think we are almost out of time. Adam, anything else you want to talk about when you talk about this particular app?
No, not really. If you find it useful, please use it. If you want to fork it or use it in a way you want, please do. It's built in my free time. It's not. It was more about learning than building this app, but I think it can be super useful in some situations. And if you find a new situation where it could be useful, I had some friends who told me that cryptographic wallets should be the gating via the wallets could be implemented, and it will be more helpful because you will be authenticated to access the data that you already have. Honestly, this will make this little project way more complex, and I don't want to invest my time in this, because I think that for this use case, you actually have the applications, so you can save whatever secrets you have using your blockchain wallets. So I don't think that there is a huge need for that in the market. But yeah, if you think that you have some bright idea, please leave it in the issues, and I'll be happy to keep the project alive.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining in and also creating this app. I think it's a very cool way that you've used this starter template. Just as a reminder, folks, next week we have a stream with Thorsten Hans. where he's built a Spin and HTMX integration that he wants to talk about. So we'll be doing a deep dive into that. All the cool kids are now using HTMX, or at least playing around with it. So we thought we'll try and do that as well. So you know where to join us next week. We'll see you then. Everyone who joined us today, Diversible Bunny, David, Marcus, some of our Fermion friends, sorry if I missed anyone else, and Dhruv as well, who might not be here right now. Thank you so much for joining in, and we hope to see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, see you soon and take care. Thanks again, Adam. Yeah, see you.
Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great day.